Good morning. It is Friday, February 13th, and it is the end of week 5 of the West Virginia legislative session. Caitlin George is unable to be with us today, so I'm going to come to you solo and just talk about some of the bills that have been going on at the Capitol this week. So there were a lot of things that took place this week in relation to tax and child care, and then we're going to talk about another issue in just a couple minutes. The first bill I want to bring to your attention is Senate Bill 393, which is on third reading in the Senate today. This bill updates the terms of the corporate net income tax, but it's also a companion bill introduced by the governor to Senate Bill 400, which passed a couple weeks ago. What those two bills do is, while they look on their face pretty simple, they actually go ahead and help West Virginia tax code conform much better to what is commonly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was passed last year. So those bills are pending, and that will bring some significant tax savings if they are passed through the legislature this year. So we're going to watch that one as it moves through third reading today. Now, moving on to child care. Yesterday, the Senate Economic Development Committee took up Senate Bill 646, and then a couple hours later, the House Health and Human Resources Committee took up House Bill 4517. These two bills actually provide a critical update to a bill that was championed by the West Virginia Chamber in 2022 that gives a tax credit to businesses that start a child care facility on their location. Under these bills, it actually makes it more permissive, easier for businesses, especially smaller businesses, to team together and provide child care for their employees and receive a tax credit for it. But importantly, the tax credit that was passed 4 years ago provides a 50% tax credit for starting a child care facility. These bills also both updated to a 100% tax credit. So the bill was passed by the Senate Economic Development Committee. It now heads to the Senate Finance Committee, and House Health and Human Resources took it up in the hearing stage, and their next meeting we hope to see it on markup and passage. Now, the other child care bills that moved yesterday in House Health, House Bill 5345 was taken up. This is a bill that actually keeps a current practice ongoing and really provides some assurance to our child care providers in West Virginia. The bill stipulates that reimbursement for subsidized children must be done based on enrollment rather than attendance. Now, that has been the practice for a while. However, there has been some uneasiness with funding and federal funding and so forth that have made the child care providers really concerned that this funding may not continue on an enrollment basis. This bill is designed to alleviate that concern and to provide assurances and basically within state law that would be how subsidized children are reimbursed. And then the other bill that was taken up on a hearing stage in the House Health Committee is House Bill 4067. This bill ensures that any child care workers who work, it's going to be about 32 hours a week is what they're likely to settle on. But any child care workers who work for 32 hours a week or more are eligible for state subsidy regardless of their income level. Now, we already have a lot of these workers who are eligible for state subsidy, and so they are able to take their children to the daycare facility where they work, and they're able to go ahead and get the slots for their children and afford them. The problem is that we have a lot of people who may be looking to work at a child care facility. We know some of these individuals, but the problem is if they go work at this child care facility and they take their children with them to be kept at that child care facility, they are basically taking whatever money they receive and having to just put it right back into the cost of child care. Or the provider is providing that child care to them for free and taking a significant loss and putting pressure on other individuals. So this bill is designed to really target those who are staying at home right now, have a spouse that has an income that puts them above the eligibility for state subsidy, but it's really addressing trying to get those people to come in and be child care workers and help with that really significant workforce issue that we're seeing. So those are the things that were done on child care this week, and those are all really good bills that we hope to see move the ball down the court. Now, I'm going to talk to you about today a bill that was disappointing to see pass the House of Delegates this week, and that is House Bill 4198, which is the E-Verify bill. Now, the E-Verify bill, as it came out of the House Government Organization Committee, came out as an incentive. And the way it would have worked is if an employer had any question whatsoever on an employee's legal status to work, and they ran them through E-Verify, if they got a positive and they put them to work and it was later found out that individual was unauthorized, the employer would have been immune from any state penalties. That was the way to do this bill. We were completely in support of moving an E-Verify bill in that fashion. But unfortunately, on a 46 to 48 vote, the House of Delegates amended that bill into a very bad fashion. So as that bill now stands and is pending in the Senate Judiciary Committee, if an employer makes a mistake and doesn't run an E-Verify on a legal U.S. citizen, anyone who's legally allowed to work in the United States, they stand to face a $500 penalty. And it's a $500 penalty per offense. Each employee is a different offense. Now, the bill also sets up license revocation. There are some cushions there as far as business license revocation, but those penalties are going to be devastating to our smaller businesses. We are hearing from our members day in and day out about the problems within this bill. So we are working very hard right now. We are educating legislators who voted for this amendment on the problems that it creates. We are talking with senators right now about this bill and the importance that it either get fixed back to an incentive program or that it go no farther. We're encouraging you, reach out to your senators, reach out to your delegates about this bill and how bad this is for small businesses. There are very few states in the nation that mandate E-Verify and very few that mandate it in this fashion. Again, I want to make it explicitly clear. It is illegal to employ an unauthorized individual in West Virginia. Our state code makes that clear, and we're in support of that state code. But this bill is mandating the use of a particular system and in assessing significant fines for failure to run a check, even on somebody who is legally allowed to work. This is a problem. We're going to continue to address this bill, and we're going to continue to keep you apprised. But again, contact your senators, contact your delegates, and share your concerns about this bill. We're going to check back in with you next week and provide an update of what goes on during week 6 of the legislative session. As always, feel free to reach out to us with any questions or comments you have. My email address is bdayton@wvchamber.com. And you can go ahead and find many things on our website, different resources about what's going on at the legislature. And we'll make sure that you continue getting our updates via email throughout the week as well. Thank you so much, and thank you for your continued support of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce.